Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you for being here with us once again. I am so excited about today for our time to talk. We have so many people to join us, like a full house. It's going to be amazing. Good evening, Guilherme. How are you doing?
I am sparkling. I'm so happy. I have very little to do tonight, and
Yeah.
I'll be here just watching you guys. That's very, very nice.
Guilherme cannot wait to be made redundant from this program. I mean, all he wants is to retire and let the things just flow. The legacy that he put together, he just wants to see it go away. Um, Unfortunately, Guilherme, this is not going to happen. You're going to stay here with us, working hard as a good worker, charitable, involved with the forgot the word, the initiative that we have. So I'm sorry, you're not going to be excused. Um, I want to say hello to everyone that is joining us. I see there's some comments already here. So I want to say hi, Nancy. Hi, Faye. Hi, Elsa. So nice to see you all here. What are we going to talk about today? Um, Let me bring our slide here. We are on episode 30 of Time to Talk. It's been a journey, a very pleasant one. I cannot believe it's the 30th episode. Today, we are bringing a very special topic, my first contact with mediumship. So I have a few guests who are going to talk about their experience, and I think it's going to be just incredible. I want to jump right in, so I'm just quickly go through our usual announcements. First of all, I want to say thank you to SSL, the Spiritist Society of London. Guilherme and I are both members of SSL. SSL is a group dedicated to studying Spiritism here in the UK. We have a couple of sessions every week to study Spirit's book, Gospel, and so on. One online on Tuesdays, one face-to-face on Thursdays. If you'd like to join us, please go check the details on Facebook. BUS, the British Union of Spiritist Societies, it's a federation of societies here in the UK. BUS organizes a lot of events. It has a lot of initiatives also linked to disseminating the Spiritist teachings across the globe and mostly Europe. And Kardec Radio has been around for over 10 years now, bringing a lot of content about Spiritism to you in English. Go check their pages on Facebook. Go like and follow them on YouTube so you don't miss on anything that they are doing. Right. Episode 30. My first contact with mediumship. I'm not going to hold anybody back any longer. I'm just going to bring our guests in so we can talk to them. It is with a lot of pleasure that I want to first add Liz. Hi, Liz. Welcome aboard. Welcome to Time to Talk.
Hello, everybody.
So nice to have you here. Our next guest is Saul. Hi, Saul. How are you doing?
Good to see you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
We have another first timer, Cleo. Hi, Cleo. Hello. And for the second time in a row, we have Ebony with us.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you.
So nice to have all of you here. Oh, we have more hellos in the group. Let me just check. Oh, Amanda is also watching us. Hi, Amanda. If it's not your first time watching Time to Talk, I'm going to explain to you. Oh, you know how it works. But if it is your first time, I'm going to explain to you. The main purpose of this program is for us to open a conversation about mediumship. The idea is to address any comments, questions, anything that you have. So the idea is to bring as much interaction with the comments into the live show. So if you have any questions or anything, just drop your comments, drop your questions in the message, and I will bring them live so we can address them. I want to say hello to David as well. Hi, David. Nice to see you with us. So, Guilherme, you suggested this topic today, and you helped me with a list of names to invite today. So why don't I ask you what you expect and what is the idea behind today's sessions and these amazing guests.
Well, everything started in our last session when I thought it would be positive to bring on board different ideas, different pair of eyes, different experiences. My initial thought was to have that subject linked to the mediumship meeting. What was my first time in a mediumship meeting, my first experience? But that would be very specific. So we thought about leave that a little bit more open, because we know mediumship sometimes comes way before we are invited to a mediumship meeting. Basically, my intention is to demystify what is a medium, what is a mediumship meeting, so everyone can understand that's simple, can be done. There is no harm. Of course, we have little things to see, details, the study, blah, 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 but we all can be part of it. There's no reason why not, as far as we have people with some experience behind giving the initial support. That's the main thing. And I thought it would be very positive to have you guys on board. First of all, because I know you like to talk. So that's a very, very positive thing already. Yeah. And I also know you have things to share. Welcome.
So based on that, let's dive right in. So I'm going to go to Liz first. Liz, do you want to talk a little bit about how mediumship came into your life?
First of all, thanks so much for inviting me tonight. It's been a pleasure so far, and I'm sure it's going to be until the end of the meeting. And thinking about my life and mediumship in my life. First of all, in a mediumship work, in a mediumship group, I think it began a few years ago in my group here in Cardiff. So we just wanted to start this work, and we felt it was the right time. But I thought, guys, I don't know anything. I haven't been in a mediumship meeting before. I just had contact with mediumship because my parents were mediums, so we had sometimes now and again things happening around the house all my life. And then, so I don't think I am a medium at all. All right. And then they just look at me. It's okay. Just go there. Just be there. Stay in prayer and vibrate. Okay. So send my positive thoughts. And in our first meeting, that was it. And from the first meeting, it was really, really strong. And they looked at me and said, you said you're not a medium, Liz. And from the first meeting, things start to happen. So, and then from that on to just learning about how to be more at service, and how to identify things and differentiate things.
Nice. What about you, Saul? Same question. How did that came about?
Well, I suppose I kind of had little tidbits from when I was a kid of kind of information which most people didn't have. I mean, when I was 7, I said to my mum, we were walking to school, and I said, I used to be an old man getting older, and now I'm here again, growing older. My mum was astonished, as a 7-year-old that I was saying this. So I guess I kind of had a few things, and I would often have, flash forwards of what was going to happen, like the weather when we had a big storm and all the trees fell down in the southeast in 1987, and then there was another storm a few years later. So I kind of was given that information. So, and I shared it because it kept coming to me. So even when I was a kid, I kind of had this stuff going on, which I knew made me a little bit different. And then I went to Brazil and kind of realized it's quite normal, and everyone's a medium in a way, or at least that's the principle and the idea, and I can see it's true. It's just we don't always trust it. So joining a group in London has been really good because it creates a format where it's normal. We are all mediums, even if we just sit there, and it's given me more confidence. The first time I had a message was probably after the first group, and like something came through to me, and I thought, well, I had a name, but then I Googled the name and the name didn't make sense to me. So then I was like, oh, it must be somebody, similar to that. Maybe there's another person with a similar name. And then, I realized just trust the name. So for me, the first lesson of mediumship was just trust what comes through, and then your fellows can tell you if it's rubbish or whatever, you know what I mean? So that's been my journey, just to trust the process and trust what you're given,
Nice. Gonna pass to Cleo now.
Well, for me, was a bit different in a way that I didn't know anything about Spiritism until I came to London from Brazil. And it's quite strange because in Brazil, you talk so much about Spiritism, and I didn't know anything. So when I came to London, me and my sister went to a few spirit groups, and then I quite enjoyed, but I just went there because it felt good, and more about curiosity than anything else. But I always felt the spirits around me since a young age. But because I came from a Catholic family, and I didn't understand very well, and also I believed that to be a medium, is a privilege, is for someone who is pure, who is a very good person. And I didn't think that I could be, was like, I was saying, you can't be a medium. You can't even compare yourself, even a tiny little bit, like a very small particle of sand, like Chico Xavier. You can't compare, so you cannot be. So all those beliefs that was put on my mind, all these encrypted beliefs, make me blind. And therefore, I didn't believe that I could be a medium. So I went to a spirit group and I said, I do feel a lot of spirits around me. I feel that they want to say something. And what shall I do? So the first answer was, you should ignore them. Do not concentrate, do not engage. And that's what you should do. And that's what I have done for many years. And nowadays, I understand that was only my mistake. I can say mistake in a way, because I didn't look any further. I just accept the first answer I got. And I didn't study, I didn't research, I didn't look for answers. Until one day I was living in Bournemouth, and I really want to have a second child, very, very, very much. And one day I felt like someone was holding my hand and was like almost forcing me to write. And I thought, well, shall I do this? So I just wrote, and I drew a pregnant woman. And a few months later, I found out that I was pregnant. And then was the first time that I actually engaged in something. And then after that, I didn't do anything anymore. But I started to read about. And then I moved back to London in a new flat. And then I could felt some very strong person next to me. And then my husband said to me, you know that they are around. He said, ask them what they want. So I just got a pen and a paper and I said, please tell me what you want, because I can feel you around me all the time. And then I just wrote, and it was a lady, she said, I used to live in this flat where you are living now with your family. And she said, the only thing I want is answer. She said, I think I'm crazy because I can see kind of a film in front of me with all my lives. I am the main actor on the films. Can you tell me if I got crazy and I need to go to the hospital for medicine? Did I get crazy? And why are you leaving my house? So I said to her, I cannot give you all the answers now, but a spirit center, and I gave her the name, and I said, at this day, at this time, they will be able to help you. And then later on, she did came back and she thanked me for the help. And she said, that's all I want. So from that day on, then I realized that I could be a medium. I still not believe myself.
You're still in doubt. All of that.
And one day, and then when I was pregnant, I was 7 months pregnant, and I went to Italy. And it was a very interesting story because I was at this hotel, and I was with two friends, and I woke up in the morning and I said to them, I had a dream where I was eating honeycomb, a big honeycomb. And I thought, this is amazing. And because I was pregnant, I really craved for that. And when I woke up in the morning, I went to the breakfast, and that's what I saw in the breakfast. This picture that you are seeing now. And then a lot of coincidence, was too much coincidence at once. And then that's when I started to study more.
Right. Oops. A lot of interesting stories, very different.
You
I
see,
want to ask the same. I just want to ask before, Ebony shared with us a little bit last week or last time.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask a little bit of her initial contact with mediumship as well.
Yeah. Well, I have always been in contact with spirits ever since I was a child. But I didn't understand the phenomena of mediumship until I became an adult. And as a teenager, I attended mediumship meetings. Here in the Caribbean, we have Afro-Christian Spiritist, Afro-Christian spiritual practices. And whenever there's something going on in the family, that is a little bit disturbing, the natural reaction is it has to be coming from the spirit world. So we do have, the first thing that we do is we run for a consultation to a medium to find out what is happening. And I remember as a child, my mom and my grandma took me to a medium to get a consultation to find out what was happening with me. At the time, apparently, I had spirits that would guide me to the beach so that they can drown me. I had, people on the beach who saved me from drowning. That was the first incident. then I had other incidences where I got ill and no one could explain the illness. And so I was brought to a mediumship meeting for healing. So it was always a situation of needing help. In my case, where I came in contact with spirits, and it hasn't always been pleasant, except my latest interactions with spirits, with the Spiritist group that I'm now involved with SSL, with the mediumship meetings that we're having now. But I must say that I've had the advantage of seeing mediumship phenomena from a variety of cultures. I've been to Africa and seen it displayed that way. My first encounter with a Spiritist meeting was in London 2 years ago, and that changed my whole perspective of what an enlightened mediumship meeting is all about. And so it varies. My interaction with spirits and interaction with mediumship and being to a mediumship meeting, it's varied. But I must say, with all of that, it has taught me to. It really reflected the diversity of the spirits that we are involved with.
Rafael, may I disturb what's going on here, because I'm liking very much?
Yes, go Guilherme.
One of the things that used to happen quite often, really, is that when a person starts to feel some symptoms, if I can use that word, about mediumship, they become afraid. They become afraid because of so many preconceived ideas, and also from our past in other religions, for example. And fear is one of the main things that come naturally to most of the people they are encountering mediumship in their lives. Having said that, now that you all are having experiences with the mediumship, I know that you guys participate in mediumship meetings. And how do you feel like? What is mediumship for you today? You brought to us what was mediumship in the beginning. Now, after you being acquainted to what is really mediumship, and especially through the Spiritism, that's what we're talking about here, how do you guys feel like? So I would like to ask, so the question is, how that encounter with mediumship, with the Spiritism, is affecting your life today. So I would like to ask, to start with Saul.
Well, I've when I'm in any meeting, even if it's just studying, like the Mediums book course, for example, I use that as an opportunity to see if I can get a message. Not every time. If I'm really tired, the spirits leave me alone, and they're like, "Oh, he's no good. The apparatus is not in tip-top condition. Let's move on to someone else." But so long as I've slept, I just ask, is there a message? I keep the pad by me and I'm paying attention, but my conscious mind is a bit preoccupied, which for me is better. So I'm not kind of worried about, am I going to get a message or this and this? I'm just available. I'm open. I'm open channel. And then I guess I find more often than not, something will come through, a poem or some kind of message, which I then share with the group and put on my LinkedIn page, just so that people can can look at that if they want. So for me, it's been a real education, because I think really it's more important when I look back to when I first joined the mediumship practice group and started getting a few messages coming through. I didn't really, sometimes I would stay up a bit late the night before, and as I said, would occasionally be tired on the group. And I realized it's more serious for ourselves than we think. It's not just, oh, we have to go to class and try and, be a SWAT and everything. It's very reforming for us. It's very helpful for me to be doing that work. And when I look back, I realize, yeah, I need to take it more seriously. So my advice to anybody beginning to get messages or anything is take it as seriously as you can, because when you look back, you'll be wishing that you had really been 100% from the beginning, because it's a great opportunity to be of service, and to feel like you're making that little bit of difference. And we're all making a difference. Every single person in the mediumship practice group I'm in, and another group, we're all a team. Everybody has a role. If somebody's just sitting there thinking, oh, well, that guy's doing this girl's doing that, I'm no good, I'm not a real medium, I'm a fake, it's really, really not true. It's a team, and everybody is there, including if Gil or Raf is there, as well as the leader or whatever. Everybody has a part to play. So I would urge everybody to never think, oh, I have to be, Givaldo Franco in 10 minutes or in 1 year, otherwise I've failed. It's really not true. And one small note I would say, because in the past, before I encountered Spiritism, I tried automatic writing, and then I thought, no, this is really a complicated thing. I can't just sit here and the pen doesn't move and do anything. I would not really urge anybody to rush straight to thinking, if I fail at that, then I can't get any messages. I would just say, put your thoughts down. What comes into your head, just write it down. Start there. Don't start with needing, to be blindfolded and your pen flying off the paper like that, because, you may not need to do it like that. You may just be able to, like I do when somebody's talking, I can just get a message. So you don't necessarily have to do something really complicated. Just do what's natural, and you'll progress and you'll learn.
So, Rafael, who do you want to choose now?
Let's go to Liz. Liz, I'll ask the same thing as Guilherme asked.
I think I have similar opinion to Saul. Like now, going to the meeting is such an integral part of my week. Is so important for me that even like when things are not going right towards the end of the week, and I'm like, oh, come on, Elizabeth, just hang on there, and then just do this and be quite disciplined, towards the meeting. And then I have my little routine. But yes, it's just being there and being that service. For me, we are all little instruments, and the best we can do is being there full-hearted and wanting to help. So we are willing to be a little bit of part of the assistance of that time. And we experience, we have a snapshot of so many experiences, and it just enriches us so much. Like for me, it's really humbling, and I learn a lot. And I come out of that always thanking for the opportunity, because it's really amazing. I always been the kind of person that like to observe other people and their lives and what didn't go well in their lives, and then I try to transfer to my life and say, no, I don't want it to happen to me, and what I can do. And I'm not by all means anybody perfect, but I always try to do this as much as possible. And sometimes I do the same, or sometimes I learn with that other experience. So then, it's we have so much knowledge brought to us, and so many things happening, and working together and being there available, so we are able to assist someone. It is really, very important to me. So my family already knows, and you know, they know my routine, and they have to be there quiet. They have to behave. Otherwise, I come up to the meeting and say, I can't believe you did this. I can't believe you did that. Mommy was here. Why are you shouting? So it is, you know, my thoughts are always in this sense.
So let me go to Ebony, both Ebony and Cleo, because you mentioned like your experiences discovering or find out yourself as mediums, and then your journey through what mediumship was in the beginning and what it is now. And I want to ask what you would have liked to know from the beginning that would have made things different, easier than they were.
Sorry.
Well, either of you first, and then the other one compliments.
Okay, you first.
Okay. I wish I knew that spirits was just people. I wish I knew in the beginning that I was a spirit. I didn't know that. I always thought that they were outer worldly beings, and so with that thinking, and I'm speaking about before I encountered Spiritism, as a teenager, as a young adult. I didn't know that, you know, that spirits were just people. Otherwise, I would have ignored a lot of things that I didn't ignore. I wouldn't have been as afraid as I was. I would never have thought that I was possessed and had to go all the way to Africa, for example, so that somebody could lay their hands on me. You know, those kinds of thinking that you had, because what is happening to you is from an outer world. The cause is from an outer world, and so the solution, you know, is from there, and you can only find that solution in a particular place. I wish I knew that I had the freedom to communicate with spirits. I didn't know that. I didn't know that I had to go through to somebody to get a message over to my grandmother, for instance. I didn't know that I could send love, and I can forgive those that I needed to forgive who had transitioned. So I wish I knew that we were all the same.
That's a great.
And
So go ahead.
and we retain our human tendencies. I really wish I knew that from the beginning.
That is a great point. Cleo?
There was an American writer called Lovecraft, and he used to write horror stories. And he once said, the oldest and the strongest emotion of mankind is fear. And the oldest and the strongest kind of fear is a fear of the unknown. And we fear Spiritism and mediumship, and because we don't know. That is simple as that. And we are like a small child who is afraid of the dark. If we knew what was there, we would not be afraid. And before I studied, I was afraid myself. And now that I know what is there, like Ebony said, it's just people like us. I'm not afraid anymore. And what I have learned with mediumship is help me more than I could help the others. Like, for example, Aristotle, he said, educating the mind without educating the heart is not education at all. So I learned to be a good person and to do good things for my family, people around me. So I don't just learn to be a medium and understood what mediumship is, but it's the whole. It's not just one part. And also there is a lot of commitment as well. And yeah, I think that's it.
Guilherme, you can ask the next question.
Well, now that we all accept we are mediums, right? Or at least now we believe a little bit more, right? How can I protect myself? How can I be sure that myself and my family are protected from my experiences with all those different type of spirits? Why I'm asking that? Because it's also a great concern from people in the beginning. How can I protect myself? And I want to know from each one of you, how do you feel like? What is your mindset in regards to that? Because bear in mind that those questions and answers will be a good support, perhaps, to young mediums. They are still very unsure about what to do and how to do, right? So I'd like to start with Cleo. What is your answer, Cleo?
Divaldo Franco, he gave to people who are just starting mediumship, he said, you need to understand first and then to educate. So now that we understand what mediumship is and the way we can protect ourselves and our family is to be a better person, is to have connection with the good energies. And also faith, for me, faith in God is very important. And to know that I'm doing the right thing, and therefore I'll be protected. But I think it's very important to say that when we understand what it is, then we know how to protect ourselves. And without understand, there is no way we could do it.
So, what do you think, Saul?
I think I'm more protected working with spirits and as a medium than I was before, partly because Spiritism is really a group effort. So I gain, the protection of Liz, Cleo and Ebony and Raf and Gil when we're in a group. Their loving energies and their protection enfolds me and protects me, and not only within the group but outside of the group, because we are also spirits. We have a body, but we're also spirits. And if Rafa's in trouble and says, oh, I'm in trouble, help me, my fellow group members, we will hear him, at some level, right? If we're really busy, maybe someone else will take the call and send him some energy or some love. But we're a group, and there is protection in numbers. But more than that, there's protection in raising our vibration and raising our energy. And that's done best through service. The more we give, the more we are virtuous, if you like. None of us is going to say, hey, I'm really virtuous. But that's in a way what's happening. The more we give, the more the good spirits see us as a little bit higher up in the pecking order and worth a little bit more time and a little bit more love and healing ourselves and protection. If we're just in the pub all our life, are we really going to get the protection of the high spirits? I don't think so. Only the vodka. So we need to to look at the practices of keeping our lives clean, you know, and like gospel in the home. To be really honest, I was a bit lazy. I thought, you know, I'm already doing enough. I'm doing this. I'm reading the books. I've read the Kardec book. What more do you want me to do? And it was actually, I have to confess, fairly recently that I've like, no, I need to do this. It makes sense. It's not that it didn't make sense before, but I was like, no, I need to put the time in. I can't be a part-timer. So there is a reason why all the little things the Spiritists do are done, and they're because they protect us. Gospel in the Home done every week protects your home. It raises your vibration. It means the spirits who are in your home are the good ones, because they want to come and listen to what you're saying and what's happening in your space. And gradually it builds that sense of protection, because the spirits will come back regularly to listen, and extending that to reading a little bit of other Kardec books, or, you know, whatever, you know, outside of the gospel is also useful. And also I'm finding that the spirits who have come through in the mediumship groups now come through to me when I finish my gospel in the home. And one gave me a long message for myself, saying, you know, we've got a lot of work to do together. So now I realize, you know, you have to give an opening, and, you know, raising your vibration and then giving that opening, you know, can help you a lot. So yeah.
Very good. So, what about you, Ebony?
I think sometimes we think that protection from the higher spirits is almost a right that we have. But from my experience, that isn't so. One thing that worked for me was to make a conscious, deliberate effort to commit to my own inner reform. I wanted to be a better person when I started to understand the connection between that and having my guardian angel be there to support me and to help me, not just be there as a matter of fact, just watching. But how do I actively engage him or her or it? How do I communicate? How do we collaborate together? And I realized that I first have to raise my vibration. And how do I do that? Is to become a better person, be better than I was yesterday, today. Prayer, having an active prayer life helps a lot. So I would agree with Cleo on that point as well. And a deep respect for God's laws and having faith in God. I agree with Saul. What really helped me as well was practicing gospel in the home. I didn't know that's what I was doing. I was just so fascinating, and I'm still fascinated with the gospel according to Spiritism. That book, when I first read it, all the light bulbs started to go off in my head, and I couldn't put it down. And then as I started watching different Spiritist groups online and talks, they were talking about doing the gospel in the home. And I'm like, what does that entail? And when I did a little bit of digging, I'm like, well, that's what I'm doing. But the only thing is, unfortunately, I'm doing it by myself. And those in my family think I'm strange, because I realized that I couldn't force them. I tried to, and it was causing a lot of conflict. So I started doing it by myself. And then they would all look at me like, you're going crazy. Who are you talking to? You should put on that book, But it really, you should put on that book. Everywhere you go, you have the book. You're traveling and you're packing. That's the first thing that you're packing in your suitcase. These heavy books. Like, what's wrong with you? So I started doing the gospel in the home, and then I'm like, at first I used to feel naturally thirsty, because I'm talking out aloud, I'm reading out aloud. And naturally I would just get a bottle of water and I'm drinking. I didn't know that was one of the things. That was one of the aspects of doing the gospel at home, just in case they come to magnetize the water. And I'm like, oh my God, I've been doing this. So it really helped a lot. And I have this strange feeling that somehow when you engage in charity, real charitable work, charity of thought, charity, just giving of alms, giving up your time, somehow I could be completely wrong on that, but somehow it changes your physical structure, like your cellular structure. It improves your well-being and your health. That has helped me. I have had some illnesses that I know it's because of, I know now, doctors have not been able to explain it. And I didn't go anywhere. I didn't go to a spiritist center, and I didn't get any help otherwise. So I know that, doing the gospel in the home, praying, increasing your vibration, all of those things must have helped. So Allan Kardec, he knew exactly what he was saying. The spirits that came to him to share with us all of the information that they shared with us, they knew exactly what they were saying. I'm living proof of it.
Very good. Very good. So what about you, Liz? What do you think?
Well, everybody said everything, really. I just would like to add one thing that has been like the theme, and that is also, as a medium, is important for us to think, is to have discipline about time and the right time, the right space, to really let that skill do its job. Like for me, when we get together to do our meeting, that is the time. Obviously, like there's so many other things that happen throughout our lives. We work, we are always very busy people. And sometimes you have the encounter and you feel here and there. And all I can say is, like, I make a little prayer, and hopefully that on Saturday that person's going to be there. And sometimes I go to certain places and that vibration is a bit low, and I'm sure I'm dragging some people with me, and they are coming on a Saturday. So Ebony said something very interesting that is ringing in my head, like that we have the freedom to engage with the spirits. I can say yes, and I can say no thanks, not now, thank you very much. I'll make a prayer for you, and may God be with you. We're going to be assisted. But the time for me to let it flow is on a Saturday. So, and it kind of gives me a bit of sanity. And because all of us here came after a long journey to stay here and talk about mediumship now with a little bit more clarity. And some of us didn't know before, and we all kind of adamant, like, Cleo, no, I'm not. I am not. So, yes, I think that discipline is, for me, a very important element. And also being sure that I make lots of mistakes, because they will see me and they know that I make lots of mistakes. So it doesn't, masks for them doesn't work. So I better just put it out there. Yes, I know I'm doing all wrong. Oh, sorry. But let's learn together, shall we? And then, keep on going, and with a good heart, and in there doing the best that we can.
With that in mind, let me just share a little what I think about my own question. The best way to find protection is to making ourselves available to work in His name, helping those spirits, helping those around of us. And some people think, nah, that's not true. But the practice shows us that if we engage ourselves, if we truly engage ourselves, we'll be better protected than we used to be. So now, Rafael, it's your time to make a question.
Well, luckily enough, I have a question from Faye. Faye dropped the mess, and we are getting close to the end. I think this is going to be our final question to kind of try to bring this to a conclusion. Unfortunately, because I could stay here forever. Except I need to go to sleep as well. Faye asks, how do you all see yourselves in the future? Where is your mediumship leading you to? Very good provocation. I'm going to go to Ebony first.
Well, now that I know that I can help others, I can help discarnates, that has given me a sense of purpose. It has added meaning, really true meaning to my life. And I am not doing it for myself. So I see myself always being available to assist others. You know, I didn't know that I have the capacity to be in one spot and I'm able to help hundreds, even thousands, God knows how much, at the same time. So that has really, really opened up my eyes to the potential that I have. And it has also added a huge responsibility on my shoulders, to say to myself, well, hey, this is a big commitment that I'm making, and I'm going to stick to it, because I'm not just making that commitment just with myself and my conscience. I'm making it in the presence of all of those others that are there, with my guardian angel, and all of these spirits who are being helped. So that's where I see myself in the future, just constantly being a source of help and a source of inspiration to those who I never thought I would be able to help before.
Nice. Liz?
My objective is to become a good person. And I think mediumship is going to help me with that. Because at the end, we are in this long journey to better ourselves, enlighten ourselves. And mediumship is giving me so much of that self-enlightenment and tools and information for me to be able to reflect on me and to give me strength, really, give me that woof, that little push to keep going forward, really. So that is my main idea of, where mediumship is going to lead me to and what I want to be, really.
Nice. Cleo, what about you?
I believe that nothing happened like it's just luck or everything that happened on our life, there is a reason to be. And if I am a medium today, because there is a reason behind. Even if I don't know the reason, it's still a reason behind. So what I need to do is study more, search more, because I don't know a lot of things. I don't even know, because I was reading about the type of mediumship, and I have no idea which type of mediumship I have. So there is a lot for me to learn. And I think the more I learn, the more I'll be able to help.
So over to you to close.
Yeah, I agree with Cleo. The more you learn, the more things open up for you within mediumship and within Spiritism. There's always more to learn. I'd like to write books, or rather to be the secretary for writing books with the spirits. So I don't know exactly what the spirit who's been coming most commonly through me has planned, but I think that's probably what is being hinted at, is that they want me to be doing something, working harder, basically. So I'll just wait to see when they want me to be doing that and how that fits in with things, if I do it in the groups or at home or whatever. But I think that's what they're warning me about, is that there's more work to do, and I look forward to doing that. But really, it's putting yourself at at the service of the good spirits, and the groups, and where I can, I will do what I can.
Okay. Look,
Rafael,
go Guilherme. Yeah.
mediumship is always evolving. Today, I may think I only able to pick up some words. Tomorrow, I'm writing, speaking, seeing. It's not because what I am today that's casting stone. As we engage ourselves, we have the right commitment. Those benefactors, spirits that want us to do good, they give us the right support, and our mediumship evolves. As this program here is not only for spiritists, is to anyone with mediumship that is a bit lost, looking what to do, how to find help. This is the safest path. Commit yourself with good activities, with Jesus, with God. Learn how to deal with that properly. And there is only one way to have good assistance, is to work. And work again. And as you work harder, more spiritual friends we make. But now I have a surprise for Rafael.
Ooh.
Everyone have the right to make one question to Rafael.
Unfortunately, we don't have any time. It's a shame. We're gonna have to hold that for the next time we're all together. I took a lot of notes as we were talking through. So just to close, before I go to the announcements, the things that popped to me were, and all of you mentioned it one way or another, is about how natural mediumship is, and how you wish, and some of you wished, that this was something that you knew from the beginning, you understood from the beginning. It was common knowledge that this is just something natural. I think Liz and Ebony mentioned a different way, which is, I wish I knew they were just people, spirits are just people, because Liz mentioned how diverse they are, the people are, the experiences, what you hear from them, what you see, because in reality, they are as diverse as us, right? Because they're just people. Then the key to moving ahead and living from a place of confusion or knowing or even suffering is understanding the mechanism, understanding, studying. Once you understand your study, there's no way to run. You will realize, like all of you said, that the next step, or not the next step, but the only step is work. And work in a serious way. Serious was a word that I wrote a few times. Serious, discipline, because that shows your commitment with working with doing good. That shows your commitment to the good spirits that want to help you. That's how you're going to become a better person. That's how you're going to get your protection. And I think I brought this phrase a few times. I'm going to bring it one last time here. That is from Leon Denis in the book Into the Unseen. He says, nothing truthfully important can be acquired without work. So we cannot move away from that. I want to say thank you a million times to all of you. This has been a privilege to be here with you, talking to you and sharing your experience. Thank you so much for being so vulnerable again and sharing your experience, your stories. I think that's amazing. The main idea is to share with people that, look, there's nothing mystical, magical around it. It's actually quite natural, and there's a lot of work to do behind it. So this is really, really nice. I want to say thank you to all of you for taking the time being here with us. I want to say thank you to our friends in the messages, Faye, Nancy, David, Elsa, Amanda. I don't want to miss anyone. I don't think I missed anyone. It's been a pleasure to have all of you. I'll go to our announcements, and then I'm going to let you all say goodbye. as usual, announcements. Next Tuesday, every time you don't have time to talk, you have the Nosular studies. You can get the details here or online on Facebook on our SSL account. Then on Saturdays, we have the Medium's book study group. Anyone can join us. We're going item by item, the Medium's book, discussing it. It's quite a good study group. Every Wednesday, we have Coffee Break with Kardec, hosted by Munir. And every Wednesday at night, we also have the Spiritual Light with this amazing group. They always have like a special guest also. I don't know who's coming tomorrow. But anyways. And yes, that's it. Thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure. Guilherme, see you in 2 weeks.
Thank
And all of
you.
you, hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much. Thank
Bye.
you.
That
Bye,
was very
everyone.
nice.
Bye.
We really need to do this again.
We will.
Definitely. Definitely.